My name is Naomi Moneypenny. I am the Senior Product Manager on the SharePoint, OneDrive, and Yammer team, and looking after the intelligent search and discovery messaging that we have for Microsoft 365, and my lovely co-host.
Thank you. I'm Katarina Hammervoll. I'm from the search team in Norway, the FAST team, as maybe some of you know it by. I've been working on search for a while, so some of you may have seen me present at Ignites before. Last time was in Chicago, presenting on hybrid search capabilities. And I'm really excited and really honored to be back here today to share with you how we're evolving search. Because search is not really a new tool or a new technology, as I'm sure you all know, but yet there is a big transformation happening around search and discovery in Microsoft and Office today, as we've heard in Satya's keynote. And in the last year, I've been really amazed working on search at the energy and the focus across so many different teams in Microsoft. There are many teams building great, intelligent search experiences that really meet users where they're at, where they're doing their work. But at the same time, and importantly, I think, there's also been a big focus on cohesion. And that is really good news for the people who use Microsoft 365. So simple tasks like finding a person or previewing a file, these are things that need to feel really familiar and predictable in order for people to feel confident and productive at work. But this cohesion, it also goes down to the very fabric of the cloud that we're building these experiences on, down to the common APIs that we're using and to the consolidation of a lot of great search technology into one great platform, enabling us to bring you innovation much quicker and to many more experiences. So let's start by taking a look at one of them, and let's start in SharePoint. This is the SharePoint home in Microsoft 365, and it's a great place to start out your day when you're looking to get back to the activity and the news that's happening in the sites that you frequently use and that you follow. And actually, at Ignite last year, my colleagues from FAST and SharePoint were here to talk about the first take on the new search experience that we're building, that we built for SharePoint. So from the moment that you click in the search box, search anticipates your needs. It's giving you suggestions for sites and for files that you've recently worked on or visited, and it's enabling you to discover content that's trending in your team and among the people that you work with. So just by typing quickly, it's already zoomed up, yeah. So just by typing a few characters, I'm able to quickly get back to my content and then resume my work. So we've had feedback from users that this is an experience that's helping them be productive. But we wanted to keep on improving from there. We want to make search smarter, and we want to make it faster, and we want users to feel more confident and more productive. And so we looked at how people are actually using search. And there are a lot of people out there, surprisingly, who don't go around remembering file names and who remember URLs. And sometimes you don't actually know exactly the name of something that you're looking for, but you may know who worked on it. So wouldn't it be nice if search could help you find content through people? Well, if I now type in Andy, search has gotten just a little bit smarter. It's now able to go and look at the activity of Andy, my colleague, and serve me helpful suggestions right here in the search box, making it so much easier for me to stay on top of what Andy's doing and to collaborate with him. The next thing I'm going to show you is that search also helps you when you want to get back to the content that a certain team is working on, or you know that maybe what you're looking for is on a particular site, but you don't really know who in that team worked on something, or you don't remember the name of the file. So here, I can look up what the innovation team are doing around travel destinations, and just by typing a few words, I'm now able to also retrieve that directly from the search box. That's pretty cool, I think. Another thing that we've seen is that when in a lot of companies, there are all these regular meetings and reviews, and a lot of file names often end up having very similar sounding names, review 1, 2, 3, or with dates, and they're not very descriptive. And it's not very helpful when you're actually trying to find back to the right version of something. So here, I'm looking for the presentation that Andy did to the executive leadership team. And there's a lot of good suggestions here, but which is the right one? We've added some small helpful hints telling you, just by hovering over the suggestion, who worked on it. and when it happened. So here I could see there are a couple of ones that were worked on yesterday. There's one from April, so that's probably not the one. But I still have to go and see which of these two it is. So sometimes you just have to open the file to actually look at it. And now right here from inside the search box, while you're in the flow of looking, we're enabling you to go and preview the file and click directly through it to find out whether this is actually what you're looking for. And if it's not the right one, well, then you can just go and open the next one. So that's an example of search trying to understand more about how users actually work, or people, I should say.
Awesome. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of a flavor of what we're going to show you this afternoon. It's all about you. Even just in the search box itself, there's innovation. It's pretty cool, huh? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. All right. You better save it. So we're very excited about this area because it's really about understanding it's all about you, and that search is going to meet you wherever you are. So what we have fundamentally is a challenge inside of enterprise search. And when I talk about enterprise, I mean anything in the modern workplace. It doesn't matter if your company is 10 people, 1,000 people, 100,000 people, even 600,000 people, right? Looking at all of these different company sizes, search is something we all need inside of our organization. So our talent is to look at what it is we can do where search is meeting you in every single experience. And in order to really make that happen across the whole of Microsoft 365, we really have to look to the graph for this. And so all of the results that you see in every single experience, from what you saw this morning in Bing for Business to what you're going to see in SharePoint Search today, is really powered by the Microsoft Graph. One consistent place to get all of the results that you need, and that personalization that goes across every single experience in Microsoft 365. It's really key to understand that we have that data, that source of data, and that we're using the results from all of those places in order to make your experience better and better and better. So we think about sort of three different areas, really, as we consider what a search experience should really look like. And so when we think about our vision, it's kind of these three different areas. And so personalization is the first one. As I mentioned, it is all about you. We want to look at you inside of your organizational construct, what you're doing inside of the modern workplace in your own companies, and then be able to learn from that experience. The second piece is around understanding the context of what you're doing. So search results are only relevant to you if you're actually working on that area and you're finding signal basically from that noise. You want to get that search result in the context of what you're doing, and you want that result to be relevant to you. The other area around this is really understanding the boundarylessness. We want to think about the data sources. We want to think all across Office 365 and beyond into Microsoft 365, and even more beyond into that, right? We heard this morning about LinkedIn. We've seen results from Bing, all of these different data sources, thinking about how can we get this kind of data and have it extend across your organizational network and even go beyond in the future. And so this is what we really consider the problem to be inside of enterprise search, and why these three things are really key to every single experience that we're going to deliver, again, consistently powered by the Microsoft Graph. So we think this is fundamentally different from what we've been trained to expect inside of consumer search. So Katarina's going to explain some of the differences between that.
Yeah, we know that everybody searches online, and everybody knows that search just works online. So why doesn't it really work inside the enterprise? So if I search online, even if I'm looking at millions, hundreds of millions of results, we usually get back really good results on the first page. They seem to be very trustworthy documents. Sorry, I have the clicker. And so let me show you an example here. So I've searched for Oslo. That's the city where I live. And it's pretty clear here that the content that's being put on the first page is stuff that's popular. It's people who are wanting to go to Oslo. They want to see, they want to look at the travel guide. They want to look at TripAdvisor. They want to watch videos about Oslo. It's really popular content, and it looks like great results. But these are not really the web pages that I would visit in Oslo. I would probably go to the homepage for the school where my son goes to, or I might go to the page for my favorite restaurants, but they don't really show up here. So on the web, the model for finding that needle in the haystack is really a lot based on popularity. So let's take a look inside the enterprise, inside an organization. Whether it's a small or a medium-sized or a large organization, the challenge is really the same. And I'm sure you've all, people who work on implementing search in different organizations, I'm sure you hear it all the time. Why doesn't search just work? But you know, what's popular is not always the right answer for you when you're searching inside the enterprise. You might be looking at that spec for that product that your team is working on, and you might be wanting to find a presentation that someone in the leadership of your company did last week, or maybe somebody told you that there's yet another way of filing expense reports, and now you have to go and find them. And then if you look at the content that's inside the enterprise, most of the content tends to be, of course, older. I mean, it accumulates over time, but over that time, it also accumulates clicks and it accumulates views. So if we only look at what's popular, we're going to get older content. So we also, of course, we also look at recency, but I think we have to face it that some of the content that we're all working on from day to day is not really going to become very popular in the organization. It's usually something that you're working with your team on. So it's only ever really going to be viewed by and shared with a few people. But so we've realized that the model that's working online does not really work inside the enterprise. But luckily, we have technology that we think we can begin to address this with.
And that's really thinking about you, right? It's thinking about that personalization aspect and understanding the data that we have available as part of the graph. As Satya mentioned this morning, every time you do something in Microsoft 365, you're basically adding an asset to the graph. Whether that's a signal because you modified or created a file, or whether you decided to go look at some search result, or whether you were interacting with one of our Office applications. We're really thinking about how to mine that work pattern and that behavior to be able to increase our knowledge of how things can be relevant to you. So we look at you as an individual. We look at the people that you're working with. We even look at things like the meetings, the devices, and other things that you're interacting with. And so understanding that whole complex collaborative behaviors is understanding what we can do to provide something different inside of the enterprise world. So we're really looking at this from a fundamentally different perspective. And so we're very excited that we're really announcing today the evolution of search inside of the organization.
Yes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we're evolving search. So where we've been at in the enterprise for a long time, sorry, is the clicker not working? Yeah.
Push it this way.
Yeah. Where we've been at in the enterprise for a long time is that we've had more or less the same approach to search as in the consumer world, looking at popularity, looking at clicks. And we've invested a lot in the technology that enables us to analyze documents and pages in terms of words and in terms of metadata. But this is a very content-centric paradigm. It really looks at, it doesn't really care about who finds a particular document interesting, but it's just the fact that someone clicked on it. And we don't really consider that sometimes you're looking for content that's not really popular. So let's talk about how we're using the power of the graph to evolve the search experience. So we're going to go from matching on content and popularity to now putting you at the center. We're focused on your activity and the activity of those around you to give you personal search results. Now, this is exactly the same technology that I showed you in the search box that's giving you relevant and personal suggestions. But the difference now is we're applying it across the whole index, all the results in SharePoint. So whether that's 6,000 or 600,000 or 600 million documents, we're now able to, with much more precision, find that needle in the haystack in the documents that are relevant to you. And with the Microsoft Graph powering search, we're also able to go beyond search results being just blue links. But they really represent the entities that make up the organization. An organization consists of people and the stuff that they work on. And that activity, the activity on a site, or the contributors to a document, or the connections that you have to people, they are really important when you're trying to look for the right resource, or when you're learning about a new topic. And with better relevancy, we can also be smarter about how we organize search results. If we know that a specific person is a great match for your query, then we'll give that person much more real estate on the search result page, showing you that we're confident and giving you much more information straight away. But if we're less sure, then we're more focused on just keeping the results easily scannable so that we don't clutter the experience and overload you with information. And then finally, we're also proud to present a new type of layout on the search result page. It's something that really reflects the effort that a lot of us, not all of us, but put into organizing their content into folders. Some of us are really good at creating folders with meaningful names and organizing our meeting notes, organizing our content. And we've always been told that the advantage of search is that you can find content anywhere, right? It doesn't really matter where it's stored. Search, whether it's on your OneDrive, personal OneDrive, whether it's in SharePoint, search can find it. But why should search ignore the organization that we're putting and all the work that we're putting into organizing results? So if we find a lot of good matches from a particular folder or for a particular site, then we show you that organization in the search result page, making it easier for you to consume and understand and make sense of the search results. And the next pillar here, I've already shown you how in the search box we're letting you quickly filter through suggestions, disambiguate what you're looking at, and then also previewing it without leaving the search experience. And this principle of keeping you in the flow, that's something that we're also extending to the search result page. So when you're on the page, we let you unfold the items to quickly flip through presentations or Word documents. And for sites, we let you expand it and look at the activity and look at what the site actually looks like. And if you happen to find an interesting site, you don't have to go somewhere else to search in the site. We let you just zoom in to the site straight from the search result page. And from there, you can browse the results, or you can also start querying inside the site. And finally, we want the search experience to look beautiful, because after all, the search results really represent the people in the organization and the work that they do. And then we wanted to create a search experience that really tries to show off that work in the best possible light. So if we go back to SharePoint, let's show you how this works in action on real code. Yeah. So one of the great things about search is that it lets you research and see the content from the whole organization. So I'm working on a presentation for Arctic exploration at Contoso Travel. And I wanted to find out everything that's happening related to that, related to adventure travel in the organization. So I type adventure travel, and I want to see everything, so I go to the full search experience. So here you can immediately see that we have one ranked result set with files, with sites, with people and pages and news and folders, basically everything that's inside SharePoint. But of course, over time, we do want to evolve this to also embrace all the other content that's inside Microsoft 365. So that's one of the reasons we're changing our models from going to having a few categories to enabling us to show you many more things. One thing to notice here, looking at the content, is that the second result here is my own result. So even if it didn't match exactly on adventure travel, search still finds, it still helps me find my personal content. But of course, personalization shouldn't really be about excluding content. It's more about striking a balance between the personal things that you're working on, that your team is working on, and combining that by looking at the content from the whole organization. So if you know the existing search experience in SharePoint, you know that we're letting you quickly navigate to sites and files and people. Well, in the new search experience, you can still do that. It's still, if you know that you're looking for a particular type of entity, you can go straight there. So let's take a little tour and look at the different types of content that we have here. So here are the news, all the news about adventure travel, still with personalization across the company. And here I can scroll down. I can choose to unfold the search result and read to see if I find something interesting, and then click to continue reading. If we go to people, as expected, you'll find the people who happen to match on their name or their contact details, but also looking at all the different expertise and skills and projects that they have. And obviously, once we have the combination of the LinkedIn graph with the Microsoft graph, we can extend this even further to reach outside your organization to find people. Now, let's take a quick look at the files. So here's a file that I haven't seen before. And it's really easy for me to go here just by hovering over the thumbnail and indicating that I'm interested. I can now go and click through the file to look at what's inside. So we've taken some of the strengths that we had in the Enterprise Search Center, and we're now adding them to the new search experience. But we're doing it in a slightly different way, because now we're using the great new preview technology that the OneDrive team have built, which supports more than 270 different file types. So that's going to make for a great experience when you're searching and looking at files. So this was, obviously, it's really great for looking through slides. I can also go look at Word documents and browse through them. And here we have an example of that we also support images and GIFs. And I wanted to include this. I wanted to include this picture here, not only because it looks beautiful. You've never seen northern lights in a SharePoint search experience before, I'm sure. But also because this happens to be the view during the winter from our search team in Tromsø who have built this search experience. So I just wanted to do a little call out to shout out to them.
It's awesome.
Okay.
All right, so just to recap what we just heard, what have we done for SharePoint Search? A lot, right? A lot of stuff going on. So a beautiful, new, richer, smarter, interactive experience, right? We've built intelligence into the experience itself, not just into the search results in the background. We've also really looked at how we've expanded the scope across Office 365. So you're able to get access to content in SharePoint and in OneDrive, but also across lists, things that you hadn't access to before in the Enterprise Search Center, but now those results will be coming up as well as a part of your personalized search results, as well as news, right? News across the entire company. So you'll be able to find suggestions of news on SharePoint Home, but you're also seeing news right there inside of your search results as well. We're proactively suggesting more content to you to help save you time and really to work on building on the work of other people. And then we finally got People Search, right? People Search for skills in expertise, interests, and ask me about. So all of those fields that you fill out in your Delve profile, and you all fill out your Delve profile, right? Yes? Yes? Okay. Well, now you have an even more bigger incentive to do it, because all of that stuff is searchable inside of your organization. And so if you want to be found and highlighted or reached out to for your interest, expertise, or skills, it's the place to be able to do it. Okay, I'm going to hand it back over to Katarina to talk to you a little bit about teamwork. What we do inside of the organization from a teaming perspective, how we are collaborating and consuming our content inside of SharePoint. I'm really thinking about that day-to-day scenario where you're having meetings and finding notes and being able to recap those pieces.
Yeah. So one thing we're going to do is to be looking at finding meeting notes. And in any organization, there's going to be a lot of different meeting notes. I mean, you can have, and they're probably all going to be called meeting this or meeting that. So, so what we've done here is two things. First of all, we were applying personalization to your search results. So here you can see that the first meeting decks that come up are from the Contoso Norway team. So this is, these are some that I've been editing, and this is some that my manager, Torbjørn, who's actually here in the audience, has been editing. And the names are very anonymous. It's just team meeting and then a date. But by actually looking at where these things are, it starts to make sense, because here I can see it's, it's in the Contoso Norway site, it's in the team meetings 2017 folder. So instead of me having to go and read that for every single search results, Search has now neatly organized that for me. And then of course I also find, if there are meeting notes from other teams that show up, I also find those. The other thing I wanted to show you is that I could also continue searching here inside folders. So if I was looking for a particular topic that we went through in a meeting, I can go inside the folder, just like I did with the, like you can do for sites. You can scope into a folder. And here I could browse through the content that's inside the folder. And then if I want to, I can now change my query right here from the search box and then find more content. The other thing about meetings is that you meet a lot of people in meetings. Sometimes you know them, and sometimes you don't know them. And sometimes you need to look them up because you're maybe looking for that deck that they presented, or you need to find out something. So here, I want to show you a little bit about how you can search for people in the new experience. So here, this is an example of how we're also trying to look at user intent in order to show you the best results. So here, Search understands that Dan is a person inside my organization, so it shows me the people right at the top. You noticed before there weren't any people showing us. We don't show people just to show people. We show them when it's really relevant. So maybe I remember something more about Dan. Maybe I remember that it was the Dan in finance, or it was the Dan who was in building 131. So here we can combine keywords from contact information and from expertise, enabling you to really make it easy for you to find the right person. And of course, as with people showing up anywhere in the organization, you can always click on the people card to see their full, to see all of their information. So here, if I was looking for that, that document that Dan in finance showed me in our meeting, I can go directly to files, and here I can find it. It was the Controls for Travel Programs Overview. Or I can look up how we're actually related in the organization and find his contact details.
Very cool. So, personalization in search across Microsoft 365, right? How hard is it to do something like a query like Dan and finance across your whole organization and get the people you are actually working with and collaborating in a meeting? It's pretty cool, right? Yes? Good? Okay, we're feeling good. All right. I want to see this. So I just wanted to recap a couple of things here. This really is a ubiquitous capability across Microsoft 365. We're going to show you some other experiences now that we've kind of toured what we're doing inside of SharePoint, but we're going to show how that same experience is being reflected in other parts of the Microsoft 365 stack, along with some other new capabilities and functionality that we're very excited about. And so there's a couple of different things that I wanted to show you this afternoon. The first one is that we're pleased to announce visual content intelligence. So earlier this year, you saw that we had some capabilities around when you upload images or drawings or CAD peelings or x-rays, etc. We have pictures, any kind of sort of photo type oriented images. We can actually now extract even more from that. So it's in addition to being able to categorize and basically auto-tag something for you, whether it's a business card, a letter, a receipt, a photo of an outdoor scene, any of those kinds of areas, we can automatically do that categorization the minute you upload it to OneDrive or into SharePoint. And now we're going one step further. So we're announcing that we're doing text extraction directly from that image stuff. Pretty cool, right? We're going to show you in just a second, but we're very excited about this piece. So it really is the ability to take anything, x-rays included, which kind of blows my mind, really, so you can do this. But it'll actually grab that text out of there automatically without you having to do anything as a user. So let me give you a quick demo of what this really means. So the first thing is that I'm going to search for some pictures. So obviously, we upload a lot of content into SharePoint and into OneDrive. And so, for example, if I wanted to check out photos of Trum's, because I got to go to Norway, and it's pretty cool, and get to see all these nice pictures that we have here. And so you can see here, it's a great example of, here's some images that have been uploaded. We did nothing to categorize these images, right? We're actually just looking for the data around these images based on geolocation. And so it's done this automatically, right? So every time you're uploading into OneDrive and SharePoint, it already knows where it's from. It's from Norway, it's from Trum's, and it's automatically tagging that onto the photo. So it makes it very easy for me to be able to search through those different areas. And so I can actually explore through this folder, right? This is pretty cool. I get to see all these nice pictures. So I'll see all these matches in the folder here. I'll scroll down. I can see nice images across everywhere. And so, you know, I can actually check out these different photos. And again, mentioning, as we said before, from the OneDrive team, we have this amazing preview capabilities. And so you can actually see the preview right there in the window. I can search on it. I can look through it. I can zoom in and interact with it right from the search box, right? Really, really cool stuff. And as we mentioned, 270 different plus file types that are coming along with that too. So it's really cool, but I'll think about even more places that I want to go. And so if I want to search for Nordland, for example, here, so I'm going to do that. And I can check out these different previews again here. I can see that we have some great panoramic images too. So if I checked out this different area, I can see inside of the search box here, and then I can pan through and actually check out all of the detail, again, right from here. So imagine, this is great with photographs, but it's even more powerful with CAD drawings, with other images, screenshots, other things that you use inside of your organization that's difficult to see from a small preview, but you can actually just interact with this straight from here too. Pretty cool. So very excited about this stuff. Okay, let me show you a couple of other pieces. So this is not just enough about photos and other places. Let's think about what we can do with business information. So if I search for receipts, for example, since expenses are always a difficult thing that we have to deal with, we've always been able to show you like preview images of PDFs and other sort of letters that you may already have inside of SharePoint. But what we can do now is take that to the next step. When we're uploading different documents from OneDrive, for example, if you're taking a photo at the time of a transaction, right? You're going to have dinner at a restaurant with a customer, and you're actually going to go ahead and take that picture right then and there so you can use it for receipts later on. And so I don't have to tag anymore that these are receipts. I don't have to put them in a special folder or anything else. I can do this straight from here. And so I can search for receipts, and it's automatically tagging everything that I've uploaded that looks like a receipt inside of OneDrive and inside of SharePoint. Again, these results are personalized, right? So I'm seeing the stuff that's most relevant for me. I'm seeing some different areas here, and so you'll see I've got some other images that come up as well. And so I've got some receipts here, but that's pretty cool that I get receipts, right? But there's a lot of receipts, right, as we know from all of our trips here. And so what I don't remember really is the name of the restaurant or anything else that I might have done, but I do remember that I had a really good steak, right? And that's probably a good way of remembering, right? That's kind of our automatic recall pattern on how this works. So if I go ahead and search for ribeye, because it was a really good steak, as I remember, I can actually see that I get a receipt pop up here. I didn't even have to say receipt. And you can see right there that I have a ribeye, and it's right there on there. It's cool, right? Yes. I'm very excited about this stuff. So yay for itemized receipts, finally, right? So it's all good. So we'll talk about those different areas as well. And so one of the next things that I wanted to show you is a little bit more about the context of what we're working in. And so let's talk about the different search experiences. So you saw me demo from SharePoint. You're going to see me demo from Office.com and a few other places right now. But thinking about that sort of contextualization piece is really important. We want to optimize and give you intelligent experiences for where you are. We don't want to show you just personalized search results everywhere. We want to think very carefully about where we're putting in these different results. So you're going to see a lot of different applications inside of this. So it's not just the Microsoft Graph, it's not just search as we know it, right? It's really thinking about discovery inside of our applications as well. And so there's some other sessions later on this week that talk about how we're doing discovery inside of applications. You may have already experienced things like inside of PowerPoint and inside of Word, where we're actually showing you proactively content that's useful to you. And we have even more technology that's coming along the way for that as well. But this is not just about Windows or one particular area. It's really thinking about these next steps of like, where can we go with this technology? How can we proactively give you things that are useful to you in the context of your work? And so one of the things that we're looking at today is really optimizing those next few experiences for what we're doing inside of Office.com. Sorry, let me switch over. Yeah. So, Office.com is our new starting point. You may have seen this announced just a couple of days ago. If you haven't been familiar, go familiar with it, have a look at it. So check out portal.office.com or just office.com now, and it's kind of our new experience around this area. And so you can see at the top here, I've got some applications. I've got documents here that are recommended to me, right? That recommendation feature is really trying to surface up content that's most relevant to me. And so it's not just working on just the content, it's also the images and other things that I have as part of this too. I can go ahead and do a search right from here, and you'll see as I start to type, I actually get suggestions, right? Just the same way as we showed in SharePoint, that same power is going behind Office.com, but in this case, it's actually optimizing for even more features. So one of the roles of Office.com is to help introduce your different users to the different functionality we have inside of Office. So as I start to search for team, I don't just see the team meetings and the documents that I have access to. I also see suggestions of applications, right? So I see Teams come up as a suggestion of an application as well. And so I can go ahead, I can execute this query. I get query suggestions, but I'll go ahead and search for Teams. And then when I look at these different results, again, I'm getting a similar experience to how I did in SharePoint. I can see these different results. I can do the look at the previews. I can check out the different cards and the other pieces as part of this too. So it's really thinking about, the way we're expressing this and contextualizing the data and contextualizing the experience to what it is that's most important to you and adding on different features and functionality as part of it too. So let's talk a little bit more about the graph. So we think about this boundarylessness inside of the organization. Satya talked this morning about the LinkedIn graph. He talked about the Microsoft graph. And inside of your own companies, you have a whole range of other data sources that are available to you too. And so through the extensibility of the Microsoft graph, you have ways to hook in that data, right? You have ways to create and read and update basically around those data sources, whether it's a webhook or whether it's a connector inside of Office 365 groups. These are all things that come as part of the graph. And so we can think about how we're going to extend that even further in the future. We want to think about not just the devices and the conversations that you're having inside of Office 365. We want to think about the meetings, the people you're working with, whether those are internal to the company or external users that you might have as well. And think about how all of those different experiences are coming together. And so there's a few things that we want to talk about in that respect. Let me see. So the first one here is to understand it's about search meeting you wherever you are. Right? This really, really critical thing to understand from all of the work we're doing here. Search is meeting you wherever you are. We don't want to break your workflow. We don't want to break the workflow and says, okay, you have to go off and do a search now. Say I'm inside of Microsoft PowerPoint. I want to be able to get data that's useful and be able to reuse slides from other parts of the company. I want to be able to express that inside of what I'm doing in PowerPoint. So there's a search functionality for your organizations built in right there. Right? We want to think about how we're building that inside of the operating system. So we talk about Microsoft 365, but we want to think about what do we do inside of Windows? How do I do better search inside of Windows, right? If I'm in Windows right now, how do I easily find that information? And then we think about other experiences. So for example, you saw Cortana being demonstrated this morning. We'll have even more news about that later on. But we also want to think about what we can do inside of a web browser. And so that's one of our newest experiences that we have, is really understanding those pieces. So let's talk about enterprise search in Windows. We're really proud to announce today that we have a new enterprise search capability right from your taskbar. And again, when I say enterprise search capability, it's right there inside of Windows. It's available in part of Windows 10. And so you'll be able to actually access all of your organizational content and even people as part of that new search experience. So when you initiate a search inside of the Windows taskbar, you're actually going to see your organizational data as well as your local files, right? Very simple, very useful, right? Very cool. Yes, I'm excited about it. And it goes one step further, right? It's not just about understanding those files, it's the people. So again, when I search for a specific individual inside of my taskbar, I'm actually going to see the people I work with the most. So just as we gave the example with Dan in finance in this case, if I just search for Jeff or Jordy or people that I work with the most, I'm actually going to go ahead and see the people, those people right there, and be linked right into their contact card so I can start a conversation or send them an IM or anything else. And I can do that search just by first name, right? Very, very cool stuff to be able to show. But it's not just about your local data, right? Your local data and your organizational data. We want to go even more further than that, right? We know and we recognize that enterprises are very complex systems. And so one of the things that we're proud to announce today is the availability of multi-geo search capabilities in Office 365. So I'm going to let Katarina tell you all about that.
Yes. So if there are people in this room who are responsible for the IT infrastructure in your organization, which I'm sure there are, then you know that you have to follow data residency regulations. So you have to, if you're in regions that require that, you have to spend a lot of time and energy to make sure that you're following those regulations. That's really important. And you need to stay on top of all the new ones that are coming out, like GDPR. But for the people who work inside the organization, they just expect everything to work as before. They don't really care where their stuff is stored. They want to keep sharing their files. They want to keep accessing their email or searching for content just like they were doing before. So the multi-geo capabilities that were being announced this year at Ignite are really good news, because they're good news for IT administrators because they're able to follow the regulations, but they're also really good news for end users, because we've been working hard to make sure that the same experience that we've shown you here today also works, if the content is in Australia or in Japan or different, different locations around the world. Can everyone still hear me okay?
Yes,
yeah,
we're good.
Okay. So, and this is really powerful. I mean, if you've been around search for a while, taking search results from many different indexes and actually unifying them into one single result set, that is really something we had to work quite hard at. But so we're really, really proud to announce that, and that's also really speaks to the investments that are still going into search technology and the way that we're leveraging search technology from across the company, also from Bing, in able to be able to deliver these really powerful capabilities to you.
And we were going to show you a demo of it, but the problem is it looks exactly like search. So it's like, okay, you just kind of have to trust us that it's coming from lots of geographies. But promise it's there, promise it's real, and you can bug Sesha for a demo later.
Yeah, so on Thursday, Sesha here is going to be presenting multi-geo search in SharePoint, so you can go there and make sure that it really works. Yeah, so multi-geo search will first be coming to SharePoint and OneDrive, and also the Enterprise Search Center. But as we talked about before, with cohesion, we're building on the same set of APIs, we're building on the same foundation across all these different experiences. So multi-geo search will also work for Windows, for the Windows search box. It will work for Bing for Business, for Delve, for the different Office apps. And that's because we really want to, going forward, have a really unified vision for search inside of Microsoft.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's next. So, are we doing good so far? We got some good announcements? Yes? Okay, all right. I hope you guys are excited. I am like so thrilled about this stuff. It's been in the works for so many months and years, actually, in some ways. So, but I know that you always want more, right? You always want more. It's a very insistent crowd. I know it ignites. I know how you guys are. So let's talk a little bit more about the future, right? Where are we going with all of this stuff, and what more do we have in store, or at least in the nearest neighborhood of storage? So let's think about where we've come from. So looking at this evolution that we have of enterprise search technology, we see where we were before, where we are today. We're really looking at personalization. We're looking at behavior-based conversations and understanding those search results because of your collaborative behaviors inside of the graph. And so really thinking about, what else could there be, right? What else could we do? Right? It's really this evolution of a journey that started a long time ago, in 2008 or so, when FAST was acquired, and sort of the beginnings of the Microsoft graph started happening. And now you're seeing even more of that evolution of that search journey coming through. And so we want to think about what's next, right? What's next? Okay, this is really great, Naomi. We're going to do all this really cool stuff, and I'm going to see personalization and SharePoint and Office and all over the place. So what more is there? We really think about these next set of capabilities as kind of visionary capabilities inside of the enterprise. And so the technology is real, right? The things that we're showing you in the tomorrow column here is really about how do I drive actionable insights inside of the company. It's not enough to just find something. We really want to action it as well, right? It's not enough to just seek. We have to be able to actually create a better decision or get better information because of it. And so we think about the capabilities we have inside of Bing, inside of the Microsoft AI and R units, which have been doing research in machine learning and artificial intelligence technologies for basically decades at this point. And so we really want to think about how do we introduce that carefully into the enterprise search area. And so this kind of entity-driven extraction, some of the things you heard about this morning, is really about understanding how we can take that next set of capabilities and bring them into the enterprise search area as well. And so this morning we announced Bing private preview. And so we're excited about this capability. It's another entry point into the Microsoft graph. It's really about understanding those different search results that you have across your organization. But this time we're bringing it into a browser. Again, same results that you'd have from organizational search inside of SharePoint or any of the other experiences. You're surfacing that same data, but again, the experience is optimized for being inside of the browser. And we really developed this experience because we see people looking for things on the internet where they don't know because there might even be an intranet result, right? And so we're really bringing that power together, right? The web and your workplace, and bringing them together in the same interface. I think it's really important to think about that because we're trained a little bit, right, from consumer search to go off to the browser, and it's like, I don't know anything about, BitLocker encryption, right? No idea, right? So you go off to your favorite search engine and you go in and type in BitLocker encryption. And meanwhile, there's all kinds of stuff inside of your corporate intranet, right, that could actually be a helpful resource to you, but you just don't know. You don't know to even go to search there. And so that's what we really think about this new private preview we have from Bing. It's really thinking about, okay, this kind of organizational search, but bringing the best of those two worlds together. And so I'm going to show you a quick demo of how that works, and we'll do this live right here. That's good. Yay. So this is actually activated for this tenant, and as I said, this is a private preview program, so all of you can go ahead and sign up and join if you'd like to be part of it as part of your organization. So I'm going to search for Jeff Teeper, as I often do. And you'll see here that I'm basically getting a great results page back. I can see all of Jeff Teeper's results here from his professional world, but that's outside of my organization. But notice up here in this gray box that I actually can see that only Contoso Adventures employees can actually see this. So this area is kind of secluded to my organization. It's secure, it's private for my company. And I can see basically Jeff's people card, right there in the browser with all of the other search results. So I think this is a pretty cool thing. So I can actually initiate a Skype IM on here. I can actually email Jeff. I can call him, etc. I can check out his organizational structure. And I can even check out the files that I have access to that he's recently been working on. So all of that same capability we'd expect from an organizational search right here in the browser. Right? And it's super useful for like doing a quick lookup of people or understanding what people are working on and being able to also check out their organizational structure. I can tell you how many times I do this at Microsoft every day. Like, look, it's like to understand how somebody's connected up inside of the organization. And I can even check out things like his office location so that I have like a handy map to be able to check out where he works. So I'm going to do a search, another search, which is a really useful one inside of the company. I'm thinking about buildings. So in this case, as you know, Microsoft has a very big campus. And one of the things I often use is to try to look up where those specific buildings are, right? So again, think about this inside of your own organizations, the different locations, the retail outlets, partners you're working with, all of these different areas where mapping is really key and having that result set be available to anybody in your organization just from a browser search, right? Not having to go to some separate application or anything else. And so we're really excited that this is part of the announcements today, and Katrina is going to tell you a little bit more about how that all works.
Yeah, so as Naomi's shown you, the enterprise search results are coming to Bing, making it easier for users to find content from the organization, to look up maps, where someone's sitting in their office location. But should users really have to think about, okay, if I want these great new things from Bing, I have to go to Bing, I don't go to SharePoint. That's not the case. The whole point of cohesion is that as a user, if we train you that you can look up people, you can look up office locations, you shouldn't have to worry about picking the right search experience. So our vision is that wherever people are searching, they're going to get the same capabilities. So that's why we'll be working closely and partnering with all the different teams in Microsoft working on search to also bring these capabilities into other experiences like SharePoint and like Office.com. Click to the next. Yeah. Yeah, so I wanted to also share some other thoughts about how we at FAST want to evolve search. So you've seen us take steps, a lot of steps to improve how you can find content through people in the search box, and also how you can find people through contact details or their expertise. We've also started looking at intent, detecting that someone is looking for a person or they're actually looking for a specific person. And I think the next natural step is really to create a search experience that really leverages the graph. The graph is all about entities and their activity. So instead of searching for the words Miriam Graham, we want to let users say that they're actually looking for the person Miriam Graham. Yeah, if you go back one. Okay. Yeah. And by looking for that person, we can say, okay, we can now pivot the whole search experience around Miriam. We can show you who she is, what she works on, all the communication that we share, all the connections that we share right from the search result. And then you could also imagine combining that with, what is Miriam working on? I'm searching for Miriam, and she's working on Arctic research. So it gives you endless capabilities. And if you go to the next slide, the step, from showing what someone is working on to being able to answer questions like who is working on Arctic exploration or something else. That's just a natural next step. So as you've seen in Satya's keynote and here through Cortana, through Bing, Microsoft is investing a lot in machine learning and AI and making the task of finding not just the right content, but also finding the right answers achievable. So there's really a lot of exciting stuff happening in search in Microsoft today. And as I said in the beginning, I'm really amazed at the focus and the energy all around the company. And we're going through a big transformation, but we're really just at the beginning. And I know that when I go back to Norway, we're going to work hard at making search even smarter, even faster, and making people feel more confident and more productive at their work. So we're ready to tackle the next challenges.
We're very excited about this stuff. Okay, so I get the hard time of having to tell you guys what's on the roadmap, when things are coming, because I know you're all really excited about it, right? Yes, see all the cameras go up, I see that. Right? So this is the cool piece of my job here. So coming soon, right? As I said, Bing for Business, the private preview, we are announcing that today. So please go ahead. You can go to the Bing booth. You can come over to us in the search and discovery area on the Microsoft 365 piece of SharePoint. You're able to come join up anywhere you like. So if there's something you think could be interesting for your company, we'd love to get your input on how to make that experience even better. So we'd love to get some private preview customers who would like to partner with us and understand about how to make that experience even better for your organization. The text extraction, so visual content analysis, so understanding what's going on inside of your pictures and being able to do that text extraction, that's actually going to be rolling out very soon after Ignite. And so that will be deployed across all of the servers worldwide. So you'll be able to have access to that capability very, very soon. And we'd love to get your feedback on that as well. We have a blog out on the tech community, so techcommunity.microsoft.com. So if you want to check that out and see all of the intelligent search announcements that we have in there, but we'd love to get sort of even more feedback if you see the visual content piece as part of that. And then by the end of the year, you're going to have all of this super cool personalized search stuff in SharePoint. Woo! So I'm excited. So really, let's assume that we get Katarina back on the plane very quickly. But assuming that, so we're going to have all of those pieces too. But we're going to have that new search experience. So a beautiful, intelligent, smart experience inside of SharePoint Home and across Office.com. So all of that UX improvement, as well as all of the stuff on the background, is going to be there basically by the end of the year. And then we're also happy that the multi-geo search capabilities for Microsoft 365, those will also go into preview by the end of the year. So if that's a big aspect for your company, if that's something that's really been holding you back right now in terms of being able to keep data in lots of different places, or as you march towards more of the GDPR and understanding how that affects your organization, this is all part of that amazing capability too. And so 2018 is going to be a huge year for us. And so we're going to be delivering lots and lots and lots of features, right? It's going to be really, really cool because we have a lot of new things that are queued up, including, of course, the GA, the general availability of Bing for Business. So in 2018, that product will go GA. And so that's a whole new experience that we're adding on top of your browser. And that's going to ship just as part of your Microsoft 365 licenses. So your Office 365 licenses, education, everything else. You're just getting that as extra value on top of what you already have. And then the other pieces that we're really looking at, one is that visual intelligence piece. So again, it's not just enough to be able to tag and analyze the content inside of images and all of this other content that we haven't really sort of worked with that much in the past. We want to think about how we can unlock those pieces, right? How do we unlock all of this content inside of your organization so that you're able to action it faster? And so you're going to see us invest heavily into new experiences that allow you to put visual intelligence and couple that with workflow inside of your company. And so that will extend out also to the LinkedIn graph. So you can think about things like business cards, right? That's a very simple example of how you might use this. But thinking about what the possibilities are in terms of being able to take what we have as images and be able to connect it to actual actions inside of your company. And then the last piece, which is this area around questions and answers. So questions and answers is just a big piece, I think, for the organization. Right, the ability to do natural language search, the queries that Li Chen talked about this morning, and then the queries that Katerina has just talked about, the ability to say straight into search, like who is working on what, or how can I find all the people in my organization who are connected with this area, or how do I pay my healthcare provider, or can my cousin come and work at this company, right? If you think about what is required to understand a question, right, both understanding of the sort of the context, the entity extraction, the machine reading comprehension that is required, both to understand how the world works, right, what does an entity mean, how are these things related to each other, and how we can get that kind of learning from Bing, and then take what we understand inside of the Microsoft Graph, which is to be able to work through the content in your organization. So understanding HR policy, understanding your IT help desk, understanding all of that kind of FAQ information that you already have out there. So taking that idea of questions and answers, and this is not something you'll have to do manually. You can certainly intervene in manual results, but it's something we believe is a machine learning intelligence capability, and we're going to ship that as part of the product as well. So the ability to do that corporate querying across all of those knowledge bases and even inside of people as well. So we're really, really excited about those pieces, and that all of that stuff is to come, and a lot more in 2018. But for now, this is where we're good. Okay, so is this good today? Yes? Okay. Very excited about these pieces. All right, so if you would like to learn more, there is a lot of stuff going on for search and discovery. You will see intelligence built into all kinds of aspects across the content we have in Microsoft 365. So everything from the Office 365 and AI, you're going to see inside of the applications that we use every single day, so PowerPoint, Outlook, etc., as well as understanding all of the other pieces. So I have a few sessions to call out specifically here. The first one is to really look at Bing for Business. So Wednesday morning, my colleague Dean King-Smith is going to do basically a good deep dive into what the capabilities are for Bing, and so you'll be able to check that out. We'll also talk a little bit more about the connectors that we're going to think about for Bing as well. We think about mining other external capabilities outside on the web as well. And then we have other pieces. So I want to call out specifically Torbjorn, who's a personalized search person. So he's the program manager for it. So all questions over there. So Torbjorn and CJ Tan have a great 300-level session on how the graph works. So if you really want to understand that technical detail a little bit more in terms of how this stuff is really underpinning and how we're actually resulting these queries the way we are, he'll be able to talk to you about that along with CJ. And then we have multi-geo capabilities. So Sesha has several sessions this week, but multi-geo in Office 365 is really important as part of it. We have also one of my colleagues, Chris McNulty, is going to talk about content services. So if you think about what we're doing in the next wave of enterprise content management, we have a whole new area around content services. All of these things are obviously highly connected into search and into discovery. So he has a session available then. And then we have some other pieces here that really sort of help to understand how you can use the existing search capabilities. So our MVPs are doing a great job. Eric Overfield and Agnes Molnar are going to do some great sessions on understanding the existing capabilities and how you can get value out of those too. Okay. So some next steps for you all from the SharePoint team and beyond. So we have some more events coming. I know we just started Ignite, but we have even more stuff, right? So to go. And so you can expect even more news and announcements around these types of events as well. So if you would like to see Katerina and I again in Dublin, we're excited. Yes, exactly. We're very excited about that in November, so that will be good. And then we'll talk about the other SharePoint conference you're going to see a little bit more about tomorrow in North America in May of next year. We have also the tech community, so please don't forget about that. So techcommunity.microsoft.com, you can join in our conversation. You'll see there the intelligent search and discovery area, as well as the SharePoint area, and you can talk about some of these features that we have existing in OneDrive. And then also thinking about more in terms of the resources that we have available too. So sharepoint.com/resources, an easy place to find all this stuff. And so with that, we will say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it's a good thing. And then please fill out your evals. If you enjoyed the session, please tell the tool. If you hated the session, come and talk to me. It's like, so it's important.
For those of you who are leaving,
that.
I wanted to let you know that I'll be in the booth tomorrow morning and on Wednesday morning. So if you don't have a chance to ask a question now, you can come and find me there.
And so we have about 10 minutes or so left for questions and answers. So if you guys do have questions, please come to the mics for the purposes of the recording, and we'll be happy to talk about it. Or if you're just super excited about all this functionality, please come and tell us that too.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm over here.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Do you have to be an Office 365 admin to configure or customize your search results?
What type of customization are you thinking about?
No, just, you had your buildings for your company, and so you have to input that data, right? So.
Yeah, you mean for Bing?
Yeah, so for the Bing for Business capabilities there, so there is a separate admin panel for Bing for Business, and anybody who has admin access can do that. So it can actually help you to put the maps behind there. It doesn't have to be a tenant admin. It can be anybody that somebody promotes to be an admin for that Bing for Business experience.
Well, what about the results inside on your intranet, the SharePoint home results?
Yeah, for example, so all of those results are just surfacing up from the graph. So it's already the results that you have. Right? I mean,
right, but if I wanted to customize those.
Yeah, so if you wanted to do bookmarks or find like best bets type of thing, you can do that as administrator as well.
At the moment, we don't have any customization of the UX that you saw in SharePoint Home. You're still able to, all the different settings that you have and that you are able to configure in search will still apply, but you can't configure the way the search results look right now.
Okay, got it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
That was a fantastic session. Thank you very much. It was really exciting stuff. I also have a question similar to customized search results.
Yes, I knew I was going to get that question.
Well, so I work a lot with custom search results, and I'd really love to be able to take advantage of these modern features. Do these modern features integrate custom search results at some point, or is there a plan?
Well, I think I think we can. I think we'll probably do a blog post or something to share a little bit more details around that, because I think so right now we're just using the default search results set for people and for content when you're searching in SharePoint. So at least at the moment, there's no way that you can influence that. I know. I mean, I worked with search for a long time. I know that there are very good reasons why customers do want to do customization. So that's an area that we'll be looking more at, but I'm not able to promise you, say that we're going to do exactly this or exactly that, because I think one of the considerations we're making now is that search is kind of fitting into a bigger ecosystem inside Microsoft 365, and so SharePoint are building out customization capabilities like extensions for lists, the way list results look if they represent an app or something else. And so I think it's, and there are also investments in theming, like you saw the Office All.com page was themed differently than the SharePoint homepage. And so I think as search experience kind of being part of those other experiences throughout Microsoft 365, we'll be looking at trying to offer the same, carrying through the same types of customizations you can do, or if you add content to the graph, so trying to kind of align with those. But we're still a little bit sort of feeling our way in how we approach that. But we do see that there are many great scenarios for being able to customize.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
A lot of questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That one was, I knew several people were going to ask that one.
Thank you for introducing the new features. I have a question. I didn't see anything about video transcript.
Oh, okay, yeah, so
searches.
Stream is the place to do that. So I didn't talk about that in here because we do have a lot of stuff there too. So Microsoft Stream, that you may be familiar with already as part of your Office 365 subscription. So Stream automatically does audio transcription and also facial detection in there. So you can actually upload your videos, already does that stuff, uses cognitive services to pump that out, and then you can search for it across lots of places.
Well, I think there are still there are still content, there are still experiences and sort of silos inside of Microsoft 365 that are not yet part of the same search index. So that's something that we're working on addressing to try to pull in more and more of that. So I believe actually at the moment that you don't get stream results when you're searching.
No, not in the
SharePoint
search
Home.
result, but you inside
Inside
if
a
you
stream,
take the video
yeah,
and
yeah.
upload the content, you will get the
Yes, then you will
automatic
get it. But I think,
transcription of
yeah.
it.
I think the goal, the ultimate goal is that you should be able to find any content from the same search experience. But we're not quite there yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We do
We're
one from
alternating.
each.
Sorry, I don't have a.
I just want to know if we're going to see any of those stuff you showed in on-premise.
Oh, so on premises. So that would be a good question for, we have a session on hybrid with Bill Bear, and that would be a good question there. But you're definitely going to be able to see some results, right, as part of your on-premises results
so-
being surfaced up there too.
So if you have a hybrid search, and if they're part of your search index, then those results, they will surface along with the other search results you see in SharePoint Home. And you'll also be able to, we're actually taking the activity, some of the activity from on-premises, like you're modifying a file, that also goes into the graph. That also becomes part of your personalization context. So there's actually, some of the analysis that we do on the graph for frequent sites and for personalization will actually also affect the on-prem content. Not fully, but we're getting closer.
Not
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
I have a question on what's included in the late 2017 release in terms of like what search item you are surfacing. Specifically things like lists.
They are included,
There would be planner tasks.
So basically anything that you can search for in the Enterprise Search Center is included.
So everything under Office 365 would be included.
So
and
the way it's everything that's under SharePoint, and that's currently what you can search for in the Enterprise Search Center. So there's an index for kind of everything SharePoint and plus things from on-premises. But as I said earlier, we're working on trying to include more of the other content from other experiences and applications inside Microsoft 365 into that content. But currently it's OneDrive, SharePoint.
Okay, so it wouldn't include apps like Planner or Forums or To-Do or things like that.
Yes,
right
sir.
now.
It will include in the Office.com, like you'll be able to search for and get back to the apps, but
But not items inside
not the
the
items
app,
inside the
app.
apps.
Not
If
yet.
they're not
That's what we're
searchable
getting
today, they won't automatically be just because we're doing the new experience. But we'll be continually trying to add them in as they kind of become available in the same index.
But list items, for example, right now are not available.
But they will be available. So everything that's in SharePoint.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it will be also available from the search that is in OneDrive, because a lot of time we found users are going kind of to the OneDrive interface and doing search there, and right now it only brings results from OneDrive.
So we are thinking about how we're evolving OneDrive search and document library search. I don't have an answer for you right now, but it's something that we're looking at.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the unified search should be from the homepage.
It's from the homepage of SharePoint, and it's also from sites.
Okay, and from groups? What about groups? How do you guys think about group? Is group like is a SharePoint site or is?
I mean, a group is really both a group is both the communication and the content that's in SharePoint, really seeing it sort of across. So I know that at the moment, there are kind of disconnected search experiences. So we're working on kind of aligning that. So we want communication to be searchable from inside a group. But we don't have any announcements to share on when that's coming today. But that's an area we're
But
looking at.
the file section
yeah,
of
the
groups,
documents,
would that
yeah.
be available in that unified search?
If it's stored in SharePoint, it will
Yes,
be.
yeah, the documents
Yeah.
from your groups are already in.
But
in
not
SharePoint,
attachments
so-
from a communication
Yeah,
thread, for
no.
example. Yeah.
It's the
Okay,
collaboration
thank you.
aspect of it, yes.
You're
Those
welcome.
pieces
Sorry,
are there.
it's complicated
Sorry.
stuff.
Go ahead.
Hi, quick question. So are we planning to take the search, the Bing search box, make it a web part that we can embed within our pages? I want to like recreate Bing and, put the box right in the middle of this.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great thought that we've been thinking ourselves too. I can't say anything. We don't have any specific plans about it, but we're trying to. What I can say is that we're trying to build the search experience around reusable components. Whether that's a result type or whether that's the search box or the search result page itself. So we're trying to think in that way, but we don't have any concrete plans right now. Yeah.
Is there a way to promote results? Like if someone searches HR, we can promote sites or promote some content?
So in the new search experience, the best bets will work just like before. So you also see that in Bing for Business, there are capabilities around bookmarks, and so we're trying to, whichever is similar concept, so we're trying to align on that, but there's still room for the content that's promoted from the company to show up in the search results.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You had a question way over there.
Okay.
Hi, sorry. Do you have advice for customers with large investments in refiners? And then also, can you actually talk a little bit about the roadmap that you alluded to for connectors?
I can't really share anything specific on the connector roadmap.
I'll sign an NDA.
Yes.
I actually think I have one.
I know, that's one for not for the
working on the
recording,
site now.
but we'll be happy to have a conversation about it offline. Really,
yeah, and I think,
which is
you know,
a
in
lot of
terms of
stuff.
the in terms of the refiners as well, we have, I don't know if I showed you, but we have the file type refiners are there. So we will have, you know, we will have ways to refine the search results. We know that's a capability that a lot of users like. And but when it comes back to the question about the custom refiners, I kind of have to give the same answer, generic answer about customization. That is something that we're looking at. I think refiners are a great capability, and we know that different companies have different content types that are meaningful, you know, meaningful entities to them. So it's I think it's something we would like to do, but I can't promise when. Yeah.
So, a couple clarifications on the existing enterprise search center. Are the new features going to be available in that, or do we have to move away from that site collection and point people to the SharePoint home?
Well, so first of all, the existing enterprise search center is still supported, and it's not going away or being deprecated or anything. And there are capabilities that are coming there in terms of the personalized relevance and multi-geo. But we're not doing anything at the experience level, sort of in terms of the new user experience. So I think if your users are kind of using SharePoint Home, if that's the place where they go, I think they will sort of naturally, I think, find search in the places where they usually go, and they will find the same content. So they're not going to be missing out and not be able to find the same content that they will find in the enterprise search center. They'll just have a different way of experience when they're interacting with the results.
So one of the things that we did was on our intranet homepage, we put the search web part that connects to our enterprise search center. Would we have a similar web part that would point to the results that you get from the SharePoint home?
We don't have any concrete plans yet, but as I answered earlier, it's something that we're looking at different ways to sort of to adapt search to the organization, but we don't have any concrete plans to share right now.
But you're seeing all of those results, right? You're seeing all of those results when you do a search for SharePoint Home. It's just in the Enterprise Search Center, you're seeing it basically with the enterprise's push, right, on the information. And then the SharePoint Home results, you're seeing basically personalized for you, right? So you have the same scope and range of results. It's just that the ranking and the way that we're presenting that information is more tailored to what we think you're looking for.
But we are doing some of the things that are kind of happening below the search API, if you will, things that are really going deep and across the whole index should also work for the enterprise search center. So you will get, we'll get multi-geo, we'll be able to search the same content, and we'll be able to do, start applying some of the same ranking that we do also from there. So it's mainly that the new stuff is mainly focused on the experience, the way that you search.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
One more minute.
We deal a lot with the on-premise SharePoint 2016. What are the feature you saw is like a related Office 365. So when these features are coming on on-premise 2016, or is it coming or not?
Are we saying anything about what's coming on premises yet?
Yeah, so the feature pack, I mean, there are other sessions this week to talk about SharePoint more generally, right? But we would say with the search investments, we're really looking at hybrid search, right? So it's not something you'll see so much of coming to the on-prem edition that's completely standalone. It's more thinking about how do I get the investments of the graph in terms of deploying hybrid search.
Okay, so all of these features are part of the features, or?
Are part of the hybrid features package and then the online package. So if you want to think about, there's another sessions this week, as I said, about SharePoint on-prem, right? Just completely dedicated on-prem. But the hybrid environment is kind of the way to go or think about it. It's very hard. You can't take the Microsoft Graph and transport it down to a limited amount of servers. Let's put it that way, right? However big your company is, it's still a limited amount of servers compared to the crunching that is required up in the cloud to really make this stuff happen.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hey. All right.
Still have some time?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
We're going over, but we're good.
So you partly answered it, and the gentleman who talked about refiners.
Yeah.
In our very recent analysis, Office 365 cannot support our searching in terms of managed properties. They aren't queryable and sortable. You have to pay 2 for every one. There's only 200 refiners.
Yeah.
It's so limited. And I'm trying to say, okay, you can't give me any promises in terms of what is or isn't coming in hybrid. All right, I get that. But my question then is, here's the use case. I have a vendor invoice that's 2016. Right now, I can put in invoice : 2016. What would what would come about? Just think about it. If you just type 2016 in this contextualized environment where I can't say, give me a content type or a date range or a vendor ID.
Well, actually, you can't. So I think there's kind of 2 questions. That one is related to the, as you say, there are the number of managed properties, etc. They're limited in Office 365, and that's we don't have any plans to change that. But I didn't actually show it here, but the new search experience actually supports KQL. So if you really want to type invoice, if you have a managed property and you want to type invoice : something, it will actually work.
Will it work through Teams?
Well,
Teams is an experience we're working on still.
Yeah,
so
we're still
getting there.
Still working on
Office still called SharePoint, Dell. It's not enough, right? I know you want more, but we are working on it.
From a search capability standpoint, it should it should be possible to have it supported wherever you can search. But the key thing is like you have to be able to you have to actually create the managed property and have it indexed. So, but if you have that, at least in the SharePoint search experience, you should be able to query using this syntax.
Okay, so we could build something custom with a REST API that could do what a refiner could do in the old world, maybe in the new world.
But maybe if you come along to the booth, maybe we can go a little bit more into depth, so I really understand exactly to make sure I understand your question correctly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
Are there going to be search APIs so we can kind of hook into this data from our own custom search solutions?
Yes, we're not planning on taking away the search API, and the search API will support the personalization, will support the ranking that we're showing here today.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
The graph, all the graph.
And the graph, yes, the combination.
Graph.
There's graph APIs and there's search APIs,
yes.
and they're both public.
So for the multi-geo search, will there be different crawl schedules that I could use?
We just do continuous crawling in each of the geographies.
We don't want some of the search to be because of different time zones. Some of the announcements not to be.
But if it's in a data center, the crawler is running all the time. It's not really. It's it's running every
continuous
minute
call.
Or something.
Right.
It's going to we're keep investing in making that faster and faster. So there shouldn't be any difference.
Any way to pause that for a big announcement or something like that and then continue?
No.
Thank you.
Simple answer.
So I saw in the new search experience that you're paying attention to where files are, the folder paths and things like that. Historically, it's been my understanding that you try to always have people tag the document the right way, apply the right taxonomy, and that's something that we were about to begin to do. But is it now where we should tell people, oh, make sure you organize it really well with a folder structure? So I was a little confused on that.
Yeah, so I think we should, ideally we shouldn't have to tell people to do too much because they're probably not going to do it anyway. But so I think when you're in this search experience, we just kind of want to make use of the folder structure that's already there. But it all depends. If we find if we find one result here and then 2 results and then one result from a different folder, we're not going to show the folder structure structure it for every 1 or 2 things that happen to be in a particular folder. So it's really when we're finding a pattern, we're saying, okay, here there's several things that seem to belong together that are highly ranked. So it's kind of more organic. that can sort of coexist with searching, with using taxonomy to search. So you can still, we'll still keep matching on the taxonomy terms. So you can still tell people, hey, it's useful to tag things because then they're more likely to show up in search results. But now they're also going to be personalized because now we also take into account who modified the content. So it doesn't break anything related to taxonomy.
Yeah, so if people are already doing that work, so if you can get your users to do it, right, I think it's awesome, and it will be used for certain, all right, inside of your search results, and it will make it even better. Just that we found that the vast majority of people don't want to do tagging, right, they don't have interest to do it, and so we're trying to use every scrap of information that we can to create an intelligent experience. So the folder structures, we'll use whatever tags, we'll auto-tag it for you if it's an image, right, we'll try our very hardest to help with that journey. So anything we get more from people is like extra amazing goodness that can be used in search anywhere.
So it'll use the signals from both ways.
That's right. So if you can invest in managed metadata and taxonomies inside of your organization, it's awesome. Your search experience will be even better. But we're just showing you what we can give you out of the box, right, to basically assist with that journey.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Hi.
Hi there. In my on-prem environment, I have the ability to exclude a SharePoint site through central admin.
Yeah.
How would I be able to do that in the cloud? Is it only through security trimming, or is there another way to be able to exclude data that I don't want to show up in search?
Yeah. So you can do that. The same permissions if you had it on-prem. If you hybridize that environment, it will still obey that site permission, say don't crawl, right? And you can do the same thing online, right? So SharePoint Online, you can still say don't crawl this entire site if you don't want to. Right?
So there's an ability to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Sure. Hi there.
Hi. So I was just wondering about refiners. I mean, they were not showing on your demo, but
there are actually file refiners. So if you come to the booth, we can show you those. We haven't had time to add a date refiner yet. So we know that there are more refiners we want to add. And ability to refine on location or different profile properties. So we are adding the refiners that we think are most commonly used to the new search experience. So if you're talking about sort of, will there be more refiners out of the box? Yes, I think there will be.
And if we would have a taxonomy, can we add our own?
So there's a question I think we had earlier also about, can you add a custom refiner? At the moment, we don't have any plans. I think we're kind of trying to look all up at what we want to do in terms of letting the organizations customize the new search experience. So I don't have an answer for that right now. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Hi. Yeah.
Hi.
Right at the end.
Do you have any plans to provide capability for customizing people picker search? Like we have subdomains in the on-premise Active Directory. Today in our SharePoint search, we exclude users from the subdomain to be able to search the parent domain. So subdomain contains the partners. So when we go with SharePoint Online, we would like the similar functionality. We do not want partners to search the full-time employees.
So you can do that with Azure Active Directory. You can use custom properties. So if you want to import custom properties on top of what you have in your AAD structure, you can add those custom properties. And then you can send that information if you, again, from a hybrid environment, or if you're going to port directly all the way to SharePoint Online and just to run it there. So you can still have those custom properties be part of Azure Active Directory. Once they're in Azure Active Directory, they're available to any service in Office 365. And so that's something you can use then to customize it. We've had companies that do things from, the company you worked for before, like if it was a merger and acquisition situation where they're adding in a custom property to say this person came from another company before and that's their heritage kind of thing, and bring that forward. Or whether it's something to think about an Office 365 group and using dynamic membership of everybody who's in Katarina's organization, like how do I use that as a custom rule? So that's something you can do as part of Azure AD, and then it's available to any service, including SharePoint.
You mean the custom property?
Yes, is in Azure Active Directory, and then it's once you have it in Azure Active Directory, then you can use it in other places.
Is that property user type, you mean?
Yes, so if you put it in for the profile of every user, they can add in whatever they want there.
I'm not sure if you're asking whether you can search over custom properties, or You're saying in a people picker, can you actually change the UI of a people picker to show different subdomains?
Yeah, to show only.
Yeah, I don't think we allow. There's a lot of different people picker experiences,
Yeah,
and I'm not the expert on them. So
no, there's a lot of.
But I don't know. I don't think we're letting you sort of change like the people picker in Outlook or different experiences.
I don't, yeah, because I'm not understanding. So all of those properties can be searched in some way, right, across Office 365 once you have them. Like a custom results page or something else that you want to do, you can build your own application, right, and use Graph APIs, et cetera, to be able to do that and bring that information up on the screen. So if I'm not answering it, I'm sorry, then everyone has to follow up afterwards. But it's like once you have that information in Office, then you can use it in lots and lots of different places, right? And build new things if it's a new experience that you want. So,
thank you.
All right, thanks. Sorry, go there.
Hello. Well, I've got a quick one.
Sure.
First, well, thank you for the great presentation.
Thank you.
I've got a question regarding if you've got any plans to integrate, like, furthermore Delve results inside the search results.
Mm-hmm.
I get mainly the complaint from my customers saying that they don't really know which should be the entry point when they're looking for a document inside the company.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know if they actually have to go to Delve and have a look there, fail, and go to company search. So is there any plans like to have a central unit point where they connect to actually search and have Delve intelligence plus search results was refined?
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to do in this thing, right? We're saying that search is meeting you wherever you are. So the experiences that you're going after, so it doesn't matter if you start your search in Delve or in SharePoint Home or in Bing for Business or inside of an Office app or anywhere else that you might want to go, or Windows, right? We're going to surface that same result set to you everywhere. So if you think about it, we're kind of Delvifying everything, right? So, right, is kind of the way to think about it. We had Delve as kind of our superhero experience that shows you everything, but we're taking that kind of capability, it's part of the graph, and then extending it to every search experience that you have. So it doesn't matter where you start your search from in this new world, you're going to see that same kind of capability everywhere.
But by the way, like you're saying, is it like you have the experience like starting your search somewhere and it'll like propose you to continue the search in another experience which is more like richer? Or
yeah, like for example with Bing, right, I'll just pick on a simple thing, where I looked up Jeff Teeper, right, and I see his people card, right, and then I can go look at the files he's recently working on. It's kind of the Delve results, right, as if I went to check out your profile, I would see the things, your recent documents are there. And so I can click through from there, it says see more, go to office.com, right, because it's going to show me all kinds of results from there. And so it's kind of having that entry point, again, the experience of wherever you happen to be doing the search is what matters. What we're trying to do is tailor to where you want to start, not where we prescribe that you have to start in a certain place, right? The consumer model is much more, I have to go to a search engine and I have to go to this page. What we think in the enterprise is important is I can search from anywhere. It doesn't matter where I am, I just need to find that information, right? It doesn't break my flow of work. And so that whole idea of like, if I'm in the browser, I can use Bing. If I'm in SharePoint, I can use SharePoint. If I'm in Office, I can use Office, right? It doesn't matter because it's the same result set behind the scenes.
Okay.
So if their experience is today that it's giving you, Delve is giving you more relevant results, then that's something that we're working on aligning. So, you know, we want to bring the best search results to everywhere.
Well, thank you.
Okay. One more.
Yes.
Go for it.
Do you have a concrete target to improve the speed of indexation?
Yes, we are targeting to improve it further.
Yeah. It's getting faster and faster every single day, I promise.
We have people,
it really is.
People working on improving the index latencies.
But do you have a concrete target? Because now it takes up to 24 hours, right?
No, it doesn't take up to 24 hours now. It usually takes, most of the content is actually indexed within minutes in Office 365.
It's getting small.
Yeah. It used to be, even like several years ago, it still wasn't 24 hours. It was maybe between 30 minutes and 4 hours. But now it's down to minutes, and we're targeting to make it even faster.
We are going from 2010 to Office 365, and this will be a huge
wow.
change for us.
Yes. Good for you.
Yes, we are really excited. Within 2010, lots of custom content types, tons of metadata and that type of thing. Since we are rebuilding, and I heard your comment about refineries over and over, and lots of people are asking, our user base is also very much used to it. Does it still make sense for us to at least create some content type? Would it help towards all that graph and personalization search, or should we just get rid of it completely?
I think, I mean, sort of a general answer, but I'm happy to discuss this more on the booth if you want, is I think if you have sort of, if there's metadata on the item that's searchable, that helps, helps us find the right content, then that's only something, that, and then combine that with personalized search, it only gives you better results. But I think it's like whether you want sort of if you have metadata that's already there and you can sort of bring it along, I think that's great. But maybe another question is, do you want to invest? Do you want to sort of having to keep investing in tracking this? And I think maybe that's something that you have to sort of evaluate, whether you feel like the new search experiences are kind of making up for the fact that you don't have all these different content types.
Depends also, I think, the high value scenarios inside of your company, right? There are some things that you might triage and say, okay, well, I can probably get away with doing just what we have out of the box, basically, or out of the cloud in this case, right? And then there are other places where it's like, it's really critical to your company to be able to find a certain thing. That's where you want to invest extra effort on top of it, right? And so it's understanding that range of search needs inside of the organization so you can help to prioritize that. Because it's not trying to solve everything, and this is not what we're trying to do either, but we also want to, make sure that you're able to concentrate on the things that are really important inside of the company.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Just a question about mobility. Will this new experience be mobile friendly straight away?
Yes.
It looked quite
Fine,
big.
straight away, as soon as we can. Yes.
Yes.
As quickly as our developers can code.
I have two questions.
Okay.
The first question is for the enterprise search to work seamlessly, boundaryless, is it a prerequisite that you need to have a hybrid search appliance on the prem?
But are you thinking about, so you're thinking about, can it search across, can it find content that's on premises?
Right.
Well, there's always been two options when it comes to hybrid environments. That one is actually indexing, having a hybrid appliance on-prem and then indexing that content into Office 365. And the other approach is to do federation. So you can actually, have a query federation out to on-premises, which means that your content never gets indexed in Office 365 and you don't have a hybrid appliance. But then you kind of have two different result sets.
Right. So I understand that now actually, because that was the question on my mind. What do we need on-prem from the topology perspective?
Sure.
So the second question is so if you are going to have a boundaryless search, is it my understanding that we overcame that we had issues with the window, it only apply filters only on the Windows authentication, not on the Active Directory? For example, if I have an app which is not basically doing a single sign-on, or it's not connected to AD, now it's only on the Windows authentication. Now, if it's going to crawl that security filtering won't apply. So is that limitation gone with the enterprise search?
I don't think we have changed anything, and I think it's a little bit out of my area of expertise as well.
Yeah, no, agreed. So so Azure AD is what we're using from an organizational perspective, right? And so Azure AD supports lots of other services, not just Microsoft ones. So I want to be very clear about that, because even if you want to authenticate to Salesforce, or you want to authenticate to Trello, or any of those other applications, you can use Azure AD as being that one source to do that, right?
So that's a limitation, that's a constraint.
Yeah, it's definitely constrained in there, because authentication is something we want to do on a user basis, not like an admin having to give high-level permissions to lots of data, right? We want to think about how to change that model.
I understand. I mean, I just wanted to make sure, because when I heard that, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, no, we want to think about you as having one Azure Active Directory account, right? It's really important to think about it that way, because it's good for your organizational security as much as anything else. Yeah, that's very good. All right.
Yep, we have a couple more. One here.
Okay, one more. Keep going. Just like I have a whole other session of questions.
I saw a session upcoming about customization. Are we looking at display templates?
It's not about, I don't think it was search customization. It's a different session.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of the MVP sessions about
Would it be able to be
additional
customizable?
Okay, yeah.
It's about right now search.
Okay, so that's not about customizing the new search experience. So.
Right. So is it customizable in the future, or is this like...
Maybe in the future. I cannot promise anything.
No, okay,
but,
so take it or leave it.
I wouldn't be able to come back here next year and not have you tell me, why didn't you do what you promised?
Okay, and another question, Delve right now is very magic. I mean, enterprise search always is magic for users, and it's hard to explain to them what it does and why a result is here or there. And we had explain rank to show the user, okay, this is there because whatever, this and that factor. Delve doesn't have that, or is there a plan to make it more explainable to users why this result is there where it is?
We always want to try to explain to users why they see things. So we have been thinking about, we haven't really had time to do it yet, but trying to show users a little bit more about their connection to the search result. Maybe seeing, okay, maybe you're seeing the site result because someone you know recently modified it, or maybe you're seeing this document because you have a relationship to people who modified it. So that might be coming. I can't really promise that we'll do that over something else, but I think in general, having users understand the experience and feel confident about using it is a goal. And exactly how we do it, I think, or what's most effective, we'll be looking at.